How much of a freak is he? I don't know. We'll find out. The whole movie might be a little bit freaky in itself. So let's find out who Frankie Freako is and what this movie is all about here, starting with the IMDb plot. Uh, Workaholic yuppie Conor is an existential rut until one night he catches a bizarre ad for a party. Hotline hosted by a strange dancing goblin. Frankie Freako. Could this be just the recipe to spice up his boring life? Yeah, a hotline with a goblin on it. Interesting storyline, and probably don't want to be calling that number. But we wouldn't have a movie unless he did call that number. So we do, and he did. And we can see the chaos that kind of ensues with that. What to say about this one? Okay, so fairly new movie. I know that this was kind of released at some festivals and so forth. It is done by Stephen Kostanski. Hopefully, didn't want to really say that because I known for butchering names left and right here. But certainly a fan of his work. I know a lot of horror fans out there. A lot of things that he's done. A big fan of his work, especially some of the movies he's done with special effects and so forth. I'm a huge fan of Psycho Gorman. Actually, at the end of watching this one, wished he would have done a sequel to that before this one. But anyway, that's just me. But I think he was a big reason why I wanted to watch this film. Don't really know too much about what was going to happen in this one. Kind of figured it would have some good special effects and be a little bit crazy. But it definitely is odd at the end of the day. So again, what is this one kind of about? Introduce it to just a guy who's kind of finding his way. He's got, I don't know if it was his wife or his girlfriend or whatever, and she's going off on a business trip or so forth, and he's kind of there left behind to kind of stay in the home, be alone for a while. The home is, well kind of taken care of or whatever, so he knows he's going to be in a lot of trouble if something is broken, something is missing, and stuff like that with her, and he obviously doesn't want to upset her and so forth. But, he's kind of bored and just there and just, kind of almost in a rut in his life as it is, and just, maybe looking for something a little bit more, looking for something different, maybe some excitement, something, like I said, I guess, he's really concerned about, pleasing her, but, he wants, I guess, something different or more or whatever. I don't know, but, so he sees this ad and he's tempted to call this line, but he's not sure. And then he does, and then he's not sure, what to make of it. Is anything going to happen or not? And I believe, if I remember right, nothing really happened the first time he called, but then he calls again, and then he kind of wakes up, and obviously something happened, and he's not sure he remembers. But then there's these three odd little, as they say, goblin characters are around there, and obviously your first instinct would be like, hey, what the hell is this? And he almost goes in attack mode, and then, they're almost in attack mode back, and, there's, wild scene of, them going this back and forth until it appears he actually kills one of them, but then kind of feels bad for it, and then, they're like all sobbing for him and, getting all dramatic about it. But then it didn't die. It's alive, and the joke's on him and so forth. So at first you have this really kind of love-hate relationship between these goblins and him. He's not sure whether to like them or not. They're kind of, messing with him, while trying to, have this good time. And, so there's kind of that back and forth whether he's trying to get rid of them, trying to be friends with them. Each of these goblins has their own personality. One of them almost kind of has this kind of like catchphrase kind of thing. I don't off the top of my head, I don't remember what it was. But, is almost a goblin kind of like set back in a different decade or something. I don't know. But yeah, again, I don't know. Again, it's just weird. Eventually, you find out that not only was it a hotline, but these goblins are trying to, maybe be there with him to kind of escape this other person who now rules the world where they come from, and they want to kind of try to stay hidden from that. And if they go back, they might be killed or something bad is going to happen to them. So, while he's kind of getting introduced to them and figuring out what he wants to do with them, then he kind of gets pulled in and having to be by their side against this other evil force or whatever, and just becomes very strange. Again, I'm not going to tell you everything and where it ultimately goes, kind of leave it at that. I don't know, I will say up front, and I think I hinted it at the beginning, big fan of Psycho Gorman. Loved that movie. Probably one of my favorite movies of probably the last couple of years. This one, I don't know. I still don't know what to think of it. I think, maybe he was trying to grab some of that maybe Ghoulies vibe, some of that maybe Gremlins vibe, kind of make it a new kind of movie, kind of set in that kind of idea. I don't know. They're just a little strange. I don't know that I totally liked, like I said, each kind of goblin kind of has their personality. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just never really was buying into all of them. Knowing what happens in Psycho Gorman and kind of having that, ultimate, different dimension and planets and that kind of thing, it wasn't totally surprising that he would kind of draw in that these goblins are from like another kind of dimension, place or whatever, and then have them going against, another group of goblin or people, whatever, an evil warlord or whatever. Because you kind of saw that theme kind of go on in Psycho Gorman. So, I guess, I hate, and I say it all the time, that I hate comparing two movies, but, you there is a similarity there with some of the things that are going on there. I don't think he was stretching the limits with the special effects, with the goblins or whatever. I don't know, and I guess I also didn't kind of go greatly with all their movements and things they were doing. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I wasn't feeling them. Like I wanted to and so forth. It does, it is a horror comedy, so there are some funny moments. The main guy in it, he is a unique character within himself. He does have its moments. But I don't know. I guess I really had high expectations because of Psycho Gorman and because of some of the other stuff he's done. And, this, at the end of the day, I guess just didn't cut it for me. I don't know. Again, I kind of liked the end and where it ultimately ended up. There's I guess, a final twist in it all. They kind of make you believe, and nothing, amazing and out there, not like, oh my God, what a twist. But I guess, through most of the film, you kind of get that expectation that one thing is going to happen. But then they kind of flip it on you and it didn't really happen. So, that was a little interesting, but again, not mind-blowing, not like the biggest twist of all time or anything like that. So, again, I don't know. I guess I wanted something big, wanted something more. Obviously the title It's a good title. It kind of, Frankie Freako, what's that about? And then you see, oh, there's a goblin. Oh, that, what can that entail, and so forth. Um, so I think it gives you a lot, to get excited for. But then once you watch it, I don't know. Um, not There's not a whole lot here on IMDb because I know it's been very limited in its release so far. Um, 5.7 out of 10. Not a whole lot of ratings on it. Um, Maybe, I guess that's fair. Maybe a little higher than I would have maybe thought on IMDb. Um, but I think this is a movie where you guys might be split from me. Maybe you guys really enjoyed it. Maybe you guys really liked the goblins and so forth. Um, I don't know. I guess I'm more into what he did with Psycho Gorman than what he did with this, and I'm assuming it was a lot of puppet work. Again, assumption. I didn't read anything additional. I wasn't necessarily blown away by by any of it. Um, there's the hijinks. There's even, like I said early on, when they're kind of feeling him out and kind of messing with him. Maybe even that kind of Home Alone kind of vibe to it. So, maybe you're entertained by that. Maybe you like that. Maybe you enjoy that part of it. For me, it was okay. I'm not, again, over. There's nothing, I guess, here in this movie that I was like overblown by. Even like the main character. I'm not gonna say he was just anything wrong with the acting, but I guess since he's such an odd guy, it's hard to kind of tell. There's just wasn't drawn in by the goblins, wasn't drawn in by him, or just anything going, and maybe wish that maybe it didn't go in that direction of these goblins are going against some evil person or thing or whatever, and we're gonna go down that route. Mainly because we kind of went down that route with Psycho Gorman, sort of, and seems like an easy route to go with. Maybe if the storyline would have gone somewhere else and somewhere a little bit more crazy or something different, a little more different than maybe we had seen before, maybe I would have liked it more. So really wanted to like this a lot more, and really feel bad that I don't, and really feel bad that I'm only going to give this 2 pools of blood. Obviously, if you guys have seen this, really liked it, have a view really totally opposite of me, please let me know. Maybe I'll decide to watch. I tell you guys all the time, I rarely watch a movie a second time. Maybe I wasn't in the right mind frame when I watched it. Maybe need to pay more attention to it or something. I don't know if I missed it, but I'm giving it 2 pools of blood out of 5. If you really love it, if you really think I'm missing the boat on this one, please let me know, and maybe I'll watch it again. And if I do, and maybe have different thoughts on it, I'd share them on social media or whatever. I don't think I'd review this again, but unless I really saw something different in it, or felt a really different way about it. So sorry about that one. So 2 pools of blood out of 5 for this one. Horrorscorereviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all of my reviews, written and video. Certainly lots of video reviews for a while now, so you can simply like, subscribe, and do everything else that everybody wants to do here on YouTube. But if not, no worries, it is okay. I appreciate you for your time regardless. Twitter, Facebook information down below as well. For those of you who are still there, if you want to reach out, talk horror, have something for me to review there as well. And certainly in the comment section, again, if you disagree, if you really love this movie, and please let me know, and if I need to reconsider or not. Because I really wanted to like it, but just didn't. So with that, I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.